All right, so we're getting down to the wire now. Hopefully no more interruptions. Okay, Urban Decay Electric Palette. This was the controversial one of the pressed pigments that were not eye safe, which is why they call it a palette and not an eyeshadow palette. It came with a dual-ended brush, which I think is just in my brush collection. Really pretty. Didn't really use it that much, but chaos, you know, we love that color. I know I remember these staining my eyes, but yeah, this is electric. And then I never got the reboot of this because I knew I wasn't going to use it. But here's that. Then we have the Moon Dust. I love these shadows. This is like a glittery and it's carved out there. Look at those shadows. Oh, the sparkly goodness. And I have some singles in palettes. I wasn't really going to show them in this video because it's made by me and I don't feel like it is a pre-curated palette, so I didn't want to show it. They also came out with a Party Favor palette. I believe this was last year, and there's more of these types of shades. So, oh, the shimmery, sparkly goodness. Very microfine shimmers. I love these too. And then, what are you? The Troublemaker Palette. So, are we not seeing some repeats from our friend Pulp Fiction? Oh, we have an avalanche in the background. Yeah. There's Pulp Fiction. Yeah, so this is basically a very similar palette. If you didn't miss out anything from Pulp Fiction, if you got this one, but the little brush fell out. So there's that Troublemaker. Here's one that came out in the summertime. They came out with these bronzers as well. This is the Beached eyeshadow palette. And I like this kind of vertical packaging. I wish they would do that more. But yeah, it's a very beachy toned Miami vibe palette. I think you have like one matte in the whole thing. This is a really pretty color story though, for sure. I think this is the same year as Jean-Michel Basquiat, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, let's look at Game of Thrones. So, my Game of Thrones palette. Look at this. There's the throne, the Iron Throne. And they have it broken down into different the Game of Thrones houses. I really didn't give this palette a lot of love, and I feel like looking at it now, I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you want me to do like a look with each one of these? Let me know. But yeah, this is the Game of Thrones palette. I'm actually a really big Game of Thrones fan, so this one actually stays displayed on top of my vanity, actually on top of my Alex drawers, and it looks like a book, and it's just so cool. I love this. This is the Born to Run. So I think you can still buy this. You could probably find it at like TJ Maxx. It's a lot of eyeshadows though. It's a good palette. Again, like you can break it up into like quads or like sixes or whatever, and you got your mattes, you've got your shimmers, but overall it's a really good eyeshadow palette. I like it a lot. I've gotten a lot of use out of it. Doesn't look like it, but I have. And notice that the color names are totally different except for Smog. That color is just never going away. It's got a pretty hefty mirror too, but I like it. It's weighty. This is a good travel palette, I think, in my opinion. Elements. Look at this pretty palette. It's just really awkward to store. It's the only downside of it, but you've got your big UD logo with the like kind of glittery shimmery underneath it. But look at this. Oh, I love this. Again, with the glitters, like I love that color in the middle so much. What's it called, Luna? Yeah, I pull this palette out every now and then and use it still, but it's just so pretty. I love this one. That's the Elements palette. Before we get into Naked Land, this is the mini On the Run. This is Shortcut So this is like the pinky toned one. I don't have the other three. The collector in me wants to have them, but I don't need them. Sin, Laced, Shortcut, Gash. I know I have these in other colors. This one, Zone's really cool. But I know I have these in other palettes, but it was just one of those impulse things. Sephora, like the thing near the checkout has these there. So I wouldn't mind owning the other ones. Aphrodisiac. This is a little teeny tiny eyeshadow palette. Look at how cute it is. It reminds me of like a mini Naked palette. Cute. Love that color there. But I don't know. It was one of those impulse buys. Like, I have to have it. It came out the year of that Backtalk palette, which I don't like, but I really like it. It's cute. Let's get into, well, I'll just show you this. This is my favorite palette of 2020. This is Stoned Vibes, and people love it or hate it. I'm a lover of it. It's just amazing. This is my favorite palette right now, and I just love it. All right, so let's talk Naked. I have all of the Naked palettes and then some of the spin-off palettes that go with it. So let's look at these spin-off ones first. Naked Ultimate Basics, I wish they still made, because this to me is a palette that everybody would love. It's all matte, and it came out the year of that Spectrum, that second Spectrum palette, and I just love it. Clearly, I love it. I've used so much of it, and it just is such a good palette, and I wish they still made it. But this is Naked Ultimate Basics, and I like it because it's all matte. I think everybody would like this. Another kind of spin-off palette is the Naked on the Run. This was the same year as the face box things that they had, face cases. It came with a lip product, an eyeliner, and a mascara, I believe. And then it's got the bronzer, blush, and highlight. These are colors that are awful. I mean, they're just so generic. But these colors are really pretty nudes, basics. So I like this one. I just don't use it very much. It's thick. Okay, these are the Naked Basics and Naked Basics 2 palettes, and you can see I used the heck out of these. I used to use these in my eyebrows, that Crave color. And then this is Naked 2 Basics. Again, I use the heck out of it. These are such good shadow palettes for beginners too. They're not as expensive. These are like $25, whereas the Naked ones are like in the 50s. There's also a Naked Petite Heat palette, which is a mini of the Naked Heat. I'm going to put this to the side so we can compare it. I wish they had done that with the other palettes too, like a Petite Violet, but they never did. So I'm going to put this over here so I can remember it. So here's all of the Naked palettes, and we're going to go hopefully in some kind of order. This is the original Naked palette, and this is the original Naked palette packaging. I have the one with the brush. They had one that came out that had a dual-ended eyeliner at one point. Then they switched over to the brush. So I have the brush one. But here are the colors. Sin, we've seen before. Smog, Half-Baked. Yeah, but this is the classic Naked palette that they no longer make. So here she is in all of her glory and velvetiness. Then we have Naked 2. Naked 2 is similar, but it's a cool toned color story. This color here I ended up buying as a single because I like it so much. It's Tease. Booty Call, I like that color. Verve. This is just a really, really good palette. I like it a lot. Half-Baked. Seen that one before. And Blackout. Seen that one before. And they switched to the tin packaging for this one. Naked 3 is your Rose Gold palette. This was the first Rose Gold palette on the market, and then everybody and their brother decided to do one. Definitely love that color there. Don't use this one as much, but it's definitely pretty if I want to use a Rose Gold toned shadow palette. Now that I'm like a Natasha Denona fan, I don't pull for this one as much, but it's definitely a nice palette. Naked Smoky is this one. So it's not quite like those other blackened colored palettes that I have, because this is just to create the perfect smoky eye. Love that shadow there. This brush was great because it has like more of a defined pencil brush. So there's those. Whiskey I know I've seen before in other palettes. Naked Heat. So we'll get the Petite Heat out so we can compare them. Here's Naked Heat. Love that color. And here's Petite Heat. So no repeats in here between the two of them, supposedly. But they look a heck of very, very similar. But Heat, Petite Heat, love this color story. Then we have Naked Cherry. This one I just don't like as much. You know, you compare the two, Naked 3 and Naked Cherry. This is definitely a more muted version of this. It doesn't get as much love. Like, I don't even think I've ever used that color before, Drunk Dial. But that's the two of them compared. Then we have this baby. This is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. So pretty. Gold, sparkly yellowness. I love this eyeshadow palette. I didn't think I was gonna love it, and then I got it and I love it. Urban Decay Naked Reloaded. So this is the one that they made to replace the original. It's got this coral color, and then they made these four at the end bigger because they figured people would use them more, which, yeah, I have used that a lot. I don't know if you can tell there's a big dent in there. But yeah, it's a good palette. I like it a lot, and it's like squishy. And last but not least, we have our Naked Ultraviolet palette, the purple palette, which is not very purpley, but I really like these colors a lot. This reminds me of it reminds me of my very first eyeshadow palette from Urban Decay, that fishnet shade. So it's kind of funny. You can't even see that because it wasn't even in frame. So Urban Decay has been making that kind of tone for years. Yep. So that's it. I have a big old mess to clean up, but I hope you liked this video. Let me know. Leave me comments. Do you have any of these palettes? Do you know the names of any of these palettes? I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. Social media links are in the description box. Have a fantastic day.